Good evening, everybody. Welcome to NFL Scoreboard on the Sunday evening, December 7th, 2014. Week number 14 of the 2014 NFL season as we begin the month of December and the playoff hunt in the NFL. Here, should be exciting here. Okay, let's start you off at Mile High Stadium in Denver, Colorado at the Invesco Field, where the Denver Broncos squared off against the Buffalo Bills here. And the Broncos got on the board first on a C.J. Anderson 60-yard run in the first quarter to make it 7-0 in favor of the Broncos here. And then Dan Carpenter a 44-yard field goal drive to make it 7-3 in favor of the Broncos. And then Anderson again on a 1-yard run to make it 14-3 in favor of the Broncos at the halftime break. And then Anderson again from 3 yards to make it 21-3 in favor of the Broncos. And then Conover for a 50-yard field goal drive to make it 24-7 Broncos. And the Broncos seem to be in cruise control, but the Bills are not going down without a fight here. And Chris Hogan, a 14-yard pass from Kyle Orton. Bills cut the Broncos lead to 24-10. And then Kyle Orton a 1-yard run, but the Bills come back, ran out of steam as the Denver Broncos, despite Peyton Manning's no touchdown performances for 14 for 20 for 103 yards and 2 interceptions here. C.J. Anderson was superb here. 21 for 58 for 3 touchdowns and 10 yards was the longest one as the Broncos defeat the Buffalo Bills 24-17 as now they improve their record to 10-3 on the season. Bills dropped to 7-6 in the season here. As Kyle Orton had 38 for 57 for 355 yards and 1 touchdown and 2 picks here. Okay, down in Arizona here, the Arizona Cardinals are squared off against the Kansas City Chiefs down in Phoenix here. And the Cardinals got on the board on a Chandler Catanzaro 44-yard field goal drive to make it 3-0 in favor of the Cardinals here. And then Jamal Charles a 63-yard run to make it 7-3 Chiefs through 1 quarter. And then Chandler Catanzaro again from 33-yard field goal drive to make it 7-6 Chiefs. And then Jamal Charles an 18-yard pass from Alex Smith to make it 14-6 in favor of the Chiefs here. And then Catanzaro a 39-yard field goal drive to make it 14-9 in favor of the Chiefs. And then Jaron Brand 26-yard pass from Drew Stanton and a 2-point version is good as the Arizona Cardinals defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 17-14 here. As Drew Stanton had 15 for 35, 239 yards and 1 touchdown here. Wall. Alex Smith had 26 for 39 for 293 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 pick here. As the Arizona Cardinals defeat the Kansas City Chiefs 17-14. Out in Philadelphia, the Seattle Seahawks are squared off against the Philadelphia Eagles here. And Eagles got on the board first, and then Jeremy Maclin 1-yard pass from Max Sanchez make it 7-0 in favor of the Eagles here. And then in the second quarter, Russell Wilson a 26-yard run, and Huskers kick is good 7-3 Seahawks. And then Husker 44-yard field goal drive to make it 10-3 Seahawks at halftime break. And then Marshawn Lynch a 15-yard pass from Russell Wilson as the Seahawks make it a 17-7 lead here. And then Zach Ertz a 35-yard pass from Mark Sanchez make it 17-14 in favor of the Seahawks. And then Dougie Baldwin 23-yard pass from Russell Wilson as with 8:53 left in the fourth quarter. The Seattle Seahawks are leading the Philadelphia Eagles 24-14. Out in the Battle of the Bay here, Battle of the San Francisco Bay, and it is a shocker by the Bay here as the San Francisco 49ers cross the Bay Bridge to Oakland, California for a date with their arch rivals from the East Bay, the Oakland Raiders here, and it is a shocker here. As the Oakland Raiders open the scoring with a 57-yard field goal drive to make it 3-0 in favor of the Raiders here. And then Bruce Miller, an 8-yard pass from Colin Kaepernick to make it 7-3 in favor of the 49ers here. And then in the second quarter, Donald Penn, 3-yard pass from Dennis Carter to make it 10-7 in favor of the Raiders here. And then Phil Dawson, a 52-yard field goal drive, and game is tied at 10-10 piece through 2 quarters here. And then Phil Dawson, 20-yard field goal drive to make it 13-10 in favor of the 49ers here. And then Marcel Reese, a 9-yard pass from Dennis Carr, and it was 17-13 in favor of the Raiders. And then fourth quarter here, Michael Rivera, 5-yard pass from Dennis Carr, as the Oakland Raiders are leading the San Francisco 49ers 24-13 here. And Derek Carr so far has 22 for 28 for 254 yards and 3 touchdowns here, while Colin Kaepernick's 18 for 33 for 124 yards and 1 touchdown, 2 interceptions here. For the Seahawks, so far, Russell Wilson's got 22 for 35 for 263 yards and 2 touchdowns, while Mark Sanchez got 8 for 83 yards and 1 interception here. Okay, take a look at the early 1 o'clock games here. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cincinnati Bengals are battling for the NFC North supremacy here, as the Steelers squared off against the Bengals. And the Steelers began to score on a Heath Mill 1-yard pass from Ben Roethlisberger in the second quarter to make it 7-0 in favor of the Steelers here. And then the Bengals tied it on Jermaine Gresham, a 10-yard pass from Andy Dalton, as the game is tied at 7-7 apiece. And then Andy Dalton, a 20-yard run to make it 14-7 in favor of the Bengals here. And then Sean Chisholm, a 22-yard field goal, as the Bengals secured a 14-10 lead in halftime break here. And then Le'Veon Bell, 10-yard pass from Ben Roethlisberger to make it 17-14 in favor of the Steelers here. And then A.J. Green, 81-yard pass from Andy Dalton here to make it a 21-17 lead for the Bengals. But then the Steelers dominated this fourth quarter here and started with a Sean Chisholm 44-yard field goal to make it 21-20 in favor of the Bengals. And then Le'Veon Bell, 13-yard run, and the 2-point conversion is good to make it 20-21 in favor of the Steelers. And then Martavius Bryant, a 94-yard pass from Ben Roethlisberger, make it 35-21 in favor of the Steelers. And then Bell again, 22-yard run as the Pittsburgh Steelers stun Andy Dalton and the Cincinnati Bengals in front of their fans in Paul Brown Stadium, 42-21 here, as they go to 8-5 in the season here, while Bengals fall to 8-4-1 here. Ben Roethlisberger, 25 for 39 for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, but Andy Dalton at 21 for 29 for 302 yards and 2 interceptions here. Down in D.C., where the St. Louis Rams squared off against the Washington Redskins there. And it was all Rams all game here so far here, as the Rams dominate this game from start to finish as they defeat the Washington Redskins 24-0 here. The Rams got the scoring going on a Jared Cook 35-yard pass from Sean Hill in the second quarter to make it 7-0 in favor of the Rams. And then Greg Zuerlein, a 34-yard field goal to make it 10-0 in favor of the Rams. And then Cook, 1-yard pass from Sean Hill and Hecker and Harkey pass to make it 17-0 in favor of the Rams. Rams on the first drive had a kick failed, so it stayed 6-0 in the second quarter. And then Tavon Austin, 78-yard punt return as the St. Louis Rams dominated the game from start to finish as they shut out the Washington Redskins at FedEx Field, 24-0 here. Down in Nashville, where the New York Giants and Tennessee Titans are not playoff bound here, but the Giants played to their best form like they did during one of their playoff runs in recent years there. back when Eli Manning was still the Giants quarterback that would take them to the playoffs. Here is the New York Giants defeat the Tennessee Titans 36-7 here. The Giants get the scoring going on a Josh Brown 20-yard field goal to make it 3-0 in favor of the Giants. And then Odell Beckham, 15-yard pass from Eli Manning to make it 10-0 in favor of the Giants in the first quarter. And then Marcus Kuhn, 26-yard fumble return to make it 17-0 in favor of the Giants here. And then in the second quarter, Josh Brown, a pair of field goals, one from 19 and number one, 36 yards, extended 23-0 here. And then Andre Williams, a 50-yard run, and a Josh Brown quick 30-0 in favor of the Giants here. And then the Titans' only scoring drive came on an interception return from Mark Questonoff here. 23-yard run to make it 37 in favor of the Giants. But then two more field goals, one from Brandon at 52 and another 42 yards. That's the New York Giants thrashed the Tennessee Titans 36-7. Down in New Orleans here, where the NFC South is a battle here as Cam Newton blew out the New Orleans Saints down at the Superdome 41-10 here. And the Panthers got the scoring going on a Kelvin Benjamin 9-yard pass from Cam Newton to make it 7-0 in favor of the Panthers here. And then Graham Gano, a 37-yard field goal to make it 10-0 in favor of the Panthers. And then Cam Newton, a 2-yard run to make it 17-0 in favor of the Panthers here. And then in the second quarter, Shane Graham, 37-yard field goal drive to make it 17-3 in favor of the Panthers here. And then Greg Olsen, a 16-yard pass from Cam Newton to make it 24-3 Panthers at halftime break. And then Jonathan Stewart, a 69-yard run and a gain of kick, 31-3 in favor of the Panthers here. And then Fozzie Whitaker, 26-yard pass from Cam Newton here as it spent the lead for the Panthers at 38-3. And then in the fourth quarter, Gagnon, a 41-yard field goal to make it 41-3 in favor of the Panthers. And then the Saints, a lost cause touchdown on Benjamin Watson, a 7-yard pass from Drew Brees as the Panthers of Carolina blow out the Drew Brees and the New Orleans Saints 41-10 as Cam Newton had 21 for 33 for 226 yards and 3 touchdowns, while Drew Brees 29-49 for 235 yards and 1 touchdown and 1 interception here. Out in Detroit, where the Detroit Lions squared off against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers here as the Detroit Lions defeat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 34-17 here. And the Vikings get the scoring going here on a Joe Hodges 27-yard interception return to make it 7-0 in favor of the Vikings here. And then Teddy Bridgewater stacked the end zone by Sheldon Richardson for a safety to make it 7-2 in favor of the Vikings. And then a Percy Harvin, a 35-yard pass from Geno Smith. Nick Folks' kick is good to make it 9-7 in favor of the Jets here. And then Charles Johnson, a 56-yard pass from Teddy Bridgewater to make it 14-9 in favor of the Vikings here. And then Nick Folks' 36-yard field goal as the Vikings lead the Jets 14-12 through one quarter here. And then Jay Felton recovered a fumble recovery in the end zone. And they make it 21-12 in favor of the Vikings here. And then Nick Folk, 33-yard field goal drive to make it 21-15 Vikings at halftime break. And then Folk made a 22-yard field goal. The Jets cut the Vikings lead to 21-18 here. And then in the fourth quarter, Folk again for 24 yards field goal to make this a 21-21 ball game here. And then Blair Walsh, 20-yard field goal to make it 24-21 in favor of the Vikings. And then Folk again tied it for 44-yard field goal to make it 24-24. We're on in overtime. And this is exciting play. Julius Wright, a 87-yard pass from Teddy Bridgewater as the Minnesota Vikings defeat the New York Jets in the overtime, 30-24 here. As Teddy Bridgewater here, 19 for 27 for 309 yards with 2 touchdowns and 1 interception, while Geno Smith at 18 for 29 and 254 yards with 1 TD and 1 pick here. Down in Miami, where the Baltimore Ravens squared off against the Miami Dolphins here, as the Baltimore Ravens and Joe Flacco defeat Miami Dolphins 28-13 here. As the Miami Dolphins open up a 10-0 lead in the first quarter here. First, Caleb Sturgis 46-yard field goal to make it 3-0 in favor of the Dolphins here. And then Brian Outline, a 3-yard pass from Tannehill to make it 10-0 in favor of the Dolphins here. And then in the second quarter, Steve Smith, a 1-yard pass from Joe Flacco to make it 10-7. Dolphins through halftime break. And then Kabar Aiken, a 13-yard pass from Joe Flacco to make it 14-10 in favor of the Ravens here. And then Caleb Sturgis, a 34-yard field goal to cut the Ravens lead to 14-13 here. And then the Baltimore Ravens would seal the victory in the fourth quarter on a Justin Forsett 2-yard run to make it 21-13 in favor of the Ravens. And then Flacco, 1-yard run to seal it for the Ravens as the Baltimore Ravens sealed the victory over the Miami Dolphins 28-13 here. Meanwhile, out in Cleveland, where the Indianapolis Colts squared off against the Cleveland Browns here. And it was a nail-biter of a game in the fourth quarter out in Cleveland here. As the Cleveland Browns open up the scoring here on a Craig Robinson fumble recovery end zone to make it 7-0 in favor of the Browns. And then in the second quarter, Andrew Luck, an 11-yard run to tie this up at 7-7 apiece in the second quarter. And then Isaiah Crowell, a 9-yard run to make it 14-7 Browns in the halftime break. And then Justin Gilbert, a 23-yard interception return to make it 21-7 in favor of the Browns. And then the Colts fought back here. Adam Vinatieri, 51-yard field goal to cut the Browns lead to 17-10. And then T.Y. Hilton, a 42-yard pass from Andrew Luck, and they went for 2 and failed. 17-16 Rams through 3 quarters here. And then Vinatieri gets a 33-yard field goal drive to make it 19-17 Colts. And then Brian Cundiff, a 39-yard field goal drive to make it 20-19 Browns. And then T.Y. Hilton, a 1-yard pass from Andrew Luck, pass failed as the Indianapolis Colts defeat the Cleveland Browns 25-24 here. As the Colts go to 9-4, Browns fall to 7-6 here. Are down in Jacksonville, where much of the stadium was empty at All-Tell Stadium between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Houston Texans. Has no problem for the Texans as they defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-13 here. As for the Colts, Andrew Luck at 24-53 for 294 yards and 2 touchdowns and 2 picks. Ball. Brian Hoyer at 14 for 31 for 140 yards and 2 interceptions here. And now, the Jacksonville Jaguars get on the board. First on Allen Hurns, 4-yard pass from Blake Bortles to make it 7-0 in favor of the Jaguars. And then the Texans got on the board on a Ryan Bullock 44-yard field goal to make it 7-3 Jaguars. And then in the second quarter, Ryan Fitzpatrick a 4-yard run and a Bullock kick, 10-7 in favor of the Texans here. And then the Jaguars would come back in a pair of field goals from Josh Scobie at 33 yards to make it tied at 10, and then 37 to make it 13-10 at the halftime break. And then in the third quarter, Alfred Brule, a 1-yard run to make it 17-13 in favor of the Texans here. And then Aaron Foster, 1-yard run to make it 24-13 in favor of the Texans. And Ryan Bullock, 23-yard field goal as the Houston Texans defeat the Jacksonville Jaguars 27-13 here. And that A showdown in San Diego. Here is the New England Patriots square off against Philip Rivers and the San Diego Chargers. So Brady versus Rivers should be a good matchup here as we are going to preview the Patriots and the Chargers matchup here. As Tom Brady so far 293 completions, 452 for 32 for 43 yards and 28 touchdowns here. Philip Rivers got 22 completions for 48 attempts and 3,218 yards and 25 touchdowns here. And then the Russian Shane Vereen, 81 carries for 346 yards and 4.3 average and 1 touchdown here. While Brendan Oliver got 118 carries for 431 yards and 3.7 average and 2 touchdowns. Ryan Matthews, 6'3", 286 for 4.5 and 3 touchdowns here. And Rob Gronkowski's got 6'5" reception for 9-10 yards and 14 average yards and 9 touchdowns so far. Julian Edelman, 2 touchdowns. Brendan LaFell, 7. And Shane Green's got 3 touchdowns here. And the matchup, the offensive comparison here for total yards per game. Patriots got 308.4 to the San Diego Chargers, 346.2. Passing yards per game, 269.5 for the Patriots, while 258.8 yards for the Chargers there. And rush yards per game, 110 yards for the Pats to 87.3 for the Chargers there. And points per game, 31.5 for the Patriots to the San Diego Chargers, 23.2. Third down conversion, 43.9% for the Patriots to the San Diego Chargers, 47.5%. Time of possession, 1,071 for the Patriots, while 1,086 for the Chargers here. And defensive comparison, total yards per game allowed, 360.9 for the Patriots, while 301.8 for the Chargers. Passing yards, games per 250.9 for the Pats to the 221.6 for the Chargers. Rush yard per game allowed, 1-10 for the Patriots and 110.2 for the Chargers here. And points per game allowed, 21.1 for the Pats to the 20.8 for the Chargers here. And third down conversion allowed, 42.9 for the Pats to 46.2 for the Chargers here. So should be a good one here. I expect the Pats to come up top over the Chargers here. And my keys of the game is to stop Philip Rivers and the Chargers here and try to do some good teamwork. Try to bounce back from their loss against Green Bay Pine. Some good, solid football. Brady and the game need to be take this one play at a time during their offensive possession. They no need to rush. Just take your time and relax and just play a good game of football as I expect the Pats to come out on top here. As the Pats got some division leaders in the final 3 weeks. Miami next Sunday at Gillette. Meadowlands and against New York Jets on the 21st and wrap up against the Buffalo Bills on the Sunday, December 28th. And meanwhile for the San Diego Chargers, they got Denver at Qualcomm Stadium on Sunday. Saturday, December 20th at San Francisco, and Sunday, December 20th at Kansas City here. All right, take a look at standings so far in the NFL. New England Patriots have a 2.5 game lead on the Miami Dolphins and the Buffalo Bills, and they could win here. Then they'll be setting the tempo in the AFC East with a 10-3 record here and still holding that 1 spot. But if they lose, they'll still have a 2-game lead on Miami and Dolphins and Buffalo Bills. Either way, the Pats going to be in good shape for the playoffs here. And the AFC North got tied up with a Bengals loss. Got an 8-4-1.5 game on Pittsburgh and Baltimore here. The AFC South, Indianapolis Colts have a 2-game lead on the Houston Texans for first place in the AFC South. And the AFC West, Denver Broncos with a win are going to go to 11-3 in the season here. And the Denver Broncos have a 1.5 game lead on the San Diego Chargers. And if the Chargers lose, Broncos have a 2-game lead on the San Diego Chargers. But if the Chargers can win, the Chargers have a 1-game deficit on the Denver Broncos, the AFC West. In the NFC East here, if the Eagles lose, then they and the Cowboys will be tied for first place. But if the Eagles can win against the Seahawks, there'll be 1 game on the Dallas Cowboys. In the NFC North, Detroit just won, so if Green Bay could win against Atlanta, then they'll be 10-3, a 1-game lead on Detroit for first place in NFC North. But if they can lose to the Packers on Monday night, then they will be tied for first place in NFC North with the Detroit Lions there. And NFC North South is tighter. Atlanta Falcons, if they could win against Green Bay, then they'll have a 1-game lead on the New Orleans Saints for first place in NFC South. But if they could lose, tied for first place in the NFC South with the New Orleans Saints here. And NFC West, the Arizona Cardinals at 10-3. Now 11-3. If Seattle could hold on, they'll have a 1.5 game lead on the Seattle Seahawks here. With San Francisco not far behind at 7-6 here. As they lose, how could they lose to the Raiders? Okay, take a look at the playoff picture here. If the season were to end and the playoffs were to start tonight, and now the Patriots get the 1 seed and the Broncos have the 2 seed, and the Steelers, the Colts will be in wild card, and the Chargers, Bengals in another wild card spot, and in the NFC, the Cardinals will be in the 1 seed, Green Bay the 2 seed. And the Cowboys and the Eagles will square off each other again in the wild card round, while the Lions and Falcons will square off in another wild card round here. And that will be the Ravens, Chiefs, Bills, and Texans here. And NFC in Hunt, Seahawks, 49ers, Vikings, Rams. Should be an exciting December in the NFL. And that's me. And we got some updates here. And late games, Oakland just defeated San Francisco 24-13 here. And 2 minutes left. Seattle have a 24-14 lead on the Philadelphia Eagles here. Should be an exciting December in the NFL. And that's me, the NFL Scoreboard for week number 49. That's December 7th, 2049. That's Sunday. People have a good evening. And go Patriots. And we'll have the NFL halftime report during the Pats-Chargers game. And then sports rather right after the Pats-Chargers game. Stay tuned. And go Patriots. Just charge those San Diego Chargers here. Go Pats! See you at halftime.